Forecast First, sponsored by Kansas 811.
Well, it's already starting to get a little cold out there as temperatures are falling down into the 20s, including 21 degrees right now at Manhattan, as well as Clay Center, and lots of middle to upper 20s over the eastern portion of the area. A lot of high, thin cloud cover, partly to now mostly cloudy as the night goes on. Clouding up and cold as we head into the morning, but how long before snow chances return? That's coming up.
Working for you. 27 News starts now.
Snow is expected in the coming days, and it will likely have an impact. We share the governor's declaration and learn more about what's next from Chief Meteorologist Matt Miller. Flu at its highest infection rate in 15 years, how it's hitting emergency rooms hard, and also matching the death rate from COVID. Plus, very little went right for the Chiefs until the final minutes, but a Topeka man is still happy to attend his 5th Chiefs Super Bowl in a 6-year span. Chiefs coverage is where our newscast begins. Welcome on a Sunday night. Thanks so much for watching 27 News at 10. I'm David George. Landon Reinhardt is here beside me, and it just didn't go well from the start.
I wish my smile wasn't fake. I'm hiding behind this mess right now. The end of the game did make the stats look a little bit better, but until the final 2 drives of the game, we got one of Patrick Mahomes' worst stat lines of his career. 12 of 22, 148 yards and a touchdown and interception at that point. But it was a drive summary, especially in the first half, that was the worst of it. Check this out. 4 and out, 2 3 and outs, a pick 6, a 3 and out, interception, and another 3 and out, all in the first half. There's no doubting Patrick Mahomes' legacy, but here's Mahomes on just this game.
Credit to the Eagles, man. They played better than us from start to finish. We didn't start how we wanted to. Obviously, the turnovers hurt. And, I take all the blame for that. Just those early turnovers swing the momentum of the game, and then they capitalized on them, and they scored. They scored on the one, and then they got a touchdown immediately after. So that's 14 points that I kind of gave them, and it's hard to come back from that in the Super Bowl.
And Mahomes certainly didn't give his defense any help.
No, he did not.
Not with those interceptions, at least. So let's talk about the other side of the ball. We'll bring in Caroline Sorrell to handle this one.
Thanks, Landon. Well, the defense really has been the Chiefs' bread and butter all season long. Defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo's group has been giving opposing offenses nightmares since week 1, but tonight, Philly just wasn't fazed. Part of it could be because the Chiefs' offense couldn't stay on the field like Landon said. The Eagles controlled the time of possession 37 minutes to 23, but regardless, nearly 400 yards of offense and scoring on 8 of their 13 drives for a grand total of 40 points, the most the Chiefs have allowed all season long. We have not heard from the Chiefs defense yet. Hopefully, we'll get some thoughts from them later on in the show. But if you're wanting some more sports this evening, we've got just the thing for you. K-Nation is our 30-minute KU and K-State sports special that airs every Sunday night, and we've got another jam-packed show for you tonight. We sit down one-on-one with KU beat writer Henry Greenstein to talk some KU men's hoops. We bring in analyst Missy Heydrich to talk K-State women's hoops. We'll unpack yesterday's Sunflower Showdown in Manhattan, meet both baseball teams for the first time, and more. Don't miss K-Nation tonight after 27 News at 10, only on KSNT.
Well, the other big story tonight isn't what's happening tonight, but what's about to happen over the next coming days, which is a return to winter weather. We've got a winter storm watch in pretty much the entire viewing area, but most of the state, not the far southern and southeastern areas, but from northern Missouri all the way across northern Kansas, nearly from one side of the state to the other. Winter storm watch for Tuesday evening through Wednesday evening as another round of snow. There'll actually be one before that, but it's pretty minor in comparison. Temperatures into the 20s, a few teens up north around Omaha right now at 19. It's 21 at Manhattan, 23 at Marysville, 28 at both airports currently in Topeka, and the wind has diminished significantly. Fortunately, no concern of a wind chill right now. High thin clouds have been stretched out. I can see a bit of a halo around the moon right now, just that high thin canopy of clouds. That will gradually thicken as we head into the day tomorrow, becoming a cloudy sky. Snow chances will hold off until tomorrow night or early Tuesday morning. For some, it's just going to be hit or miss light snows on that. Call that round 1. Then we catch a break for a while. Round 2 is far more significant. Watch the timing here. Tuesday night into Wednesday, widespread, moderate to at times heavy snowfall will move through the region. I'll talk about how long it will stick around, and more importantly, how much totals up. Look at that, it's coming up.
All right, Matt, we'll check back in just a few. Well, not only was today the 5th Super Bowl that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have been to since 2019, but it's also the 5th time that a Topeka man has attended. 27 News reporter Jacob Kaufman joins us live in studio to tell us more about this superfan.
Yeah, thank you, David. It certainly wasn't the ending that the Chiefs and the superfan wanted, but while Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Chris Jones are no stranger to this big game, neither is Ben Seitz. Attending the Chiefs Super Bowl has become a tradition for him, and I had the chance to meet up with him before leaving for New Orleans, and he told me what it's all about attending the big game. From Miami to Tampa Bay to Glendale, Arizona, and Las Vegas, now New Orleans. Ben Seitz has been to the last 5 Super Bowls that the Chiefs have played in. Making the flight to the Big Easy on Saturday for Super Bowl 59, I caught up with Seitz earlier in the week to talk about what it's like going to the Super Bowl. Aside from the obvious in the game itself, he says the experience leading up to the game is like no other.
The pre-parties there are just outrageous. I mean, they have all kinds of great NFL players. This year, the pre-party I'm doing has ludicrous.
He tells me when it comes to the game itself, it's hard to beat Super Bowl 54 when the Chiefs came back to beat the 49ers. But as for the pregame experience, he says that Arizona has been at the top of his list.
We got FaceTime with like Tech 9 and things like that. We did the Lot J tailgate, which was amazing, our local guys. But the experiences leading into it, you pretty much have to check things off as far as what do I want to do more, because there's 10 things to do every single day.
But as we know, attending these games isn't cheap. Between the tickets, hotel, and airfare, you're looking at a hefty bill.
Just tickets alone, I know that I'm over $25K between the 4 of them. That's not counting this year. We won't count that one yet till it's over.
But for Seitz, he says that you can't put a price tag on experience.
My theory on life in general, Jake, is that experience is over possessions. So if you can buy something that gives you an experience that you're going to have forever, to me, it's worth it.
Seitz telling me that it never gets old, and that if the Chiefs make the Super Bowl next year, he will 100% be there, and that's as long, of course, as there's not a conflict in his schedule. Working for you in studio, Jacob Kaufman, 27 News.
All right, Jake, thank you so much. Governor Laura Kelly has issued a state of disaster emergency, and that's for the upcoming wintry weather. She issued a verbal state of disaster emergency proclamation this morning at 8 o'clock. With significant snow expected in the coming days, Governor Kelly released this message. Kansans have faced some challenges due to winter storms this year, and the key to meeting those challenges is to be prepared. As I did during the past storms, I urge all Kansans to take measures to make sure their families are ready and protected by making a home emergency kit and emergency plan. Americans are making more health care visits as flu hits a high mark in cases. The Centers for Disease Control says more visits to health care centers are being made for flu treatments, and the numbers are at their highest in 15 years. The CDC says 8% of all visits are for respiratory illnesses and 8% of ER visits are for the flu. That's compared to just over 3% of visits by this time last year. The CDC says people are dying from the flu right now, and it equals the rate of people dying from COVID. The CDC estimates about 24 million illnesses and 13,000 deaths so far this year. Health officials warn of a new bird flu strain found in dairy cows. The Department of Agriculture says it detected a second bird flu strain in cows. That's after testing some milk samples from Nevada. And the agency says that strain is a bit different from the one that cows caught last year. Health experts also say there are concerns that the new strain could cause a bigger threat to humans and also cause more difficulty controlling infections. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says about 67 people in the country have been infected with the bird flu, and the CDC says most of them worked with dairy or cattle. Well, tech and social media giant Meta is lopping off some workers. That's in a move to push productivity up. A Business Insider report says that Meta, whose platforms include Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, is forcing basically a workforce cut of 5%. Workers are expected to get notified in work and personal emails around 5 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow morning. And the report also says that CEO Mark Zuckerberg wants to raise expectations for performance, and low performers will get those pink slips. Employees will not have access to company systems for an hour after being notified, and email notices will give information about severance packages, vested stock options, and bonuses coming to eligible workers. All staff can also work remotely on Monday as well. Now, workers in Germany, France, Italy, and Netherlands won't feel the cuts because of local regulations, and some special cases like workers on protected leave will have their notifications delayed. Ford's electric division says, well, it really took a tumble last year, with sales pointing to more troubles ahead. Ford says electric vehicle division known as Model E took severe losses last year, totaling $5.1 billion. And that's amid sluggish EV sales. Ford's overall sales came in above expectations, though, in the fourth quarter this week. However, Ford indicates that more losses could come for electric vehicles in 2025, and Ford executives say those losses may not increase over the year. And it's still facing some pricing pressures, but the company hopes to increase the volume of electric cars through European sales. Ford electric vehicles include the Mustang Mach-E, the Ford F-150 Lightning pickup truck, the Ford E-Transit van, and also the Ford Maverick Hybrid, the F-150 hybrids, and the Ford Escape. A St. Mary's police officer arrives just in time to rescue a local couple's child. And up next, how tragedy was avoided and why this family is eternally grateful.
We're going to talk some K-State women's hoops here this evening, and we've got a very special guest here with us to do so. Missy Heydrich, former K-State women's basketball guard and current college basketball analyst. Missy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, I feel like we'd have a much different conversation
had
the Midi Cats not done what they did yesterday. I want to get that stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
A 30-point loss at Stillwater, how much is just stuff like this happens, moves on to the next, sometimes teams get hot, and how much is we need to have a serious conversation about things?
Well, I think it's probably a combination of both, because you have a team that is still making the adjustments of having to play without an All-American center and not having Ioka Lee available. And that is a big gap, and that's a big difference. They managed that and have done that against some quality teams going into the game that they were on the road yesterday. But I always say it is incredibly difficult to win on the road in the Big 12, I mean, in men's or women's college basketball. So to be able to do that and to go into Stillwater, which has been a tough place to play, TCU found that out a couple weeks ago. That was one of their losses as well. So I think a couple of the glaring things for me, which just maybe the defensive effort, this team has hung their hat on their defense all year long. It wasn't necessarily there, probably not as cohesive as they need to be. So you got to have a little bit of a gut check, and you have to understand, you know, you gave up, I think it was double-digit threes that Oklahoma State knocks down. Those are some things of some mistakes that were made, and those are correctable, but the road continues to get tough, and it always is in the Big 12.
Yeah, and you bring up Yoki. I want to circle back to that. We've talked a lot about having her, not having her this season. All of that aside and her greatness aside, do you feel like this is maybe the most Yoki independent team that K-State has had in the whole time that she's been there? Obviously, you can't replace her, but they found ways to get it done without her as well.
I think you're absolutely right. And I think a big piece of that is the depth at the guard play, which has been more than what the K-State coaching staff has had at their disposal in years past. And you've also found other ways for them to be able to score the basketball and not be so dominant, but they play differently when she's there than when she's not. What we've seen over the course of the last 4 games, they play faster, you're going to shoot more threes, more defensive intensity, probably full court, you're going to take some chances. When you don't have rim protection and you don't have a really big post presence, it changes how you have to play. And I think it was very much a rock fight in that TCU game without her on the inside. They really gutted that one out, and you win by 9. You hold TCU to 50 points, but then you go on the road and you give up 80 plus. So it is always going to be riding that wave when you don't have that inside presence. They don't have her. Hopefully she'll be back in a few weeks, and I know that's the goal.
You mentioned the rim protection. You see 61 points in a game, all-time leading scorer. People forget she was a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year as a sophomore.
That too.
What does she bring on defense that maybe K-State has to switch now that she's not in the lineup?
Well, she changes how people attack you. Now, all of a sudden, when you don't have 6'6" on the back line, penetration opens up. People get to the rim easier.
People are scared to go inside when she's on the court.
And I see it all the time. You see it in the men's game. You see it in the women's game. When you've got rim protection, we've got people that can block shots. Now, all of a sudden, how other players attack you is completely different than when they're not in the game. And so I think she also cleans up a lot of messes. So let's say somebody takes a chance, they get beat out front or they miss a block out. She's the one there to get the rebound, maybe to get a block shot, to be in help. She's just incredibly talented on both ends. So when you take that out, you got to make the adjustments, and you're looking for other people to step up.
Yeah, and another player I want to make sure we talk about real quickly is Serena Sundell.
Oh, yeah.
And you could go back to her performance in that game on Wednesday night, and it's just, you know, she was the offense, right? I mean, what do you see from her ability to score maybe when Ayoka is not doing the scoring, and also her ability to create for the people.
Well, she carried Kansas State against TCU, there's no doubt. I think, and I've always said, I think she's one of the most complete and versatile guards in the Big 12, and obviously she's put herself in the national conversation as well as one of the top point guards in the nation. She just has great vision. I love cool, calm, and collected ball handlers. That's exactly what she is. And her size is a huge advantage to her. She's 6'1". And so as we saw against TCU, she's posting people up. She's able to score on the low block. She can rebound. She can get to the rim. She's just a very versatile player. And that doesn't happen very often. So I think her ability to be able to create for herself and for her teammates. I mean, she just moved in top 10 in the Big 12 on the career assist chart this past weekend. Yeah. That doesn't happen very often for a kid like that who's that talented in multiple ways.
Yeah. And I think my favorite part is after the TCU win, she brought up just 3 shots against KU, then took over 20 against TCU.
Doing it when she has to.
No one on the team cared because they care about winning.
You got
Missy,
it.
that's all the time we have. Thank you so much.
Now on 27 News.
We're not going to be scared away no matter what they do. We're still here. We're still going to continue what we plan to do today. And then this assembled company, I acknowledge you can pass my pass.
And now it's getting violent. We have a counter-protester now attacking.
I acknowledge it can pass my pass.
Oh, it's getting punches are thrown.
I'm not resisting. I'm not resisting. I'm not resisting.
A black mass turns violent as a satanic leader gets put in handcuffs by police minutes after entering the Capitol. And tonight, we have just learned that Michael Stewart was released from jail. Stewart was one of 2 people involved in a heated fight in the State House. Both were arrested on misdemeanor charges. And tonight, 27 News has also learned that 4 people in total were arrested. We brought you this whole thing live as it happened. Thanks so much for joining us at 6 o'clock. I'm Rob Hughes. We are continuing our team coverage tonight. We begin with 27 News anchor Rebecca Chung, who is in the thick of it. She takes us through the chaos at the Capitol. Rebecca.
Yeah, Rob, it was a crazy scene earlier today. It's all wrapped up now, but outside here on the east side of the Capitol steps, from the outside we saw about 24 Satanists, hundreds of Catholic counter-protesters surrounding the event, but it got even more heated when the Satanic Grotto made its way into the Capitol. Capitol Police then let them inside as long as there were no disturbances, but when the group's leader, Michael Stewart, got to the first floor, that quickly changed. You can see him reciting prayers to Satan, and he's met with people saying he can't do that inside the Capitol. That's when one counter-protester tries to snatch Stewart's prayer book. Stewart then lunges at him to punch him, and you can see Capitol Police tackle Stewart to the ground and try to separate the two. Keep in mind, the governor said this black mass ceremony was supposed to be kept outside. We spoke with Stewart's wife after he was arrested, and here's what she has to say. Said not to do it, though. So what was the...
Why would she say that? What did we do wrong? We legally acquired our permit. She had no business moving us. We were working with security. We are nonviolent. There is no reason we should have been moved. There is literally a Catholic choir singing right now. The hypocrisy is absolutely appalling.
Now, the Black Mass was supposed to be peaceful, according to Stewart, but things got out of hand today, and we saw even another altercation earlier today before the arrest. Stewart says a counter-protester tried to attack him during part of the ceremony out here. And we're going to be keeping you updated throughout the night with the latest developments. Rob, back to you.
Rebecca, I do want to ask you, we understand that the group used some kits for their ceremony that you got a hold of. Could you tell us about those?
Yes, and we also got a hold of this Black Mass kit. This is what they were giving out. If we look inside, you can actually see part of the Eucharist. Let me see if I can pull that out for you. It's a bit windy. So this is what they were handing out to people today. You see the Eucharist. This is used in the Black Mass ceremony. It's also used in a traditional Catholic Mass. These are things that they got online to use for the Black Mass ceremony today, and it was part of desecrating the Eucharist, denouncing the Word of God, all of those things wrapped up in today's ceremony. Rob.
All right, Rebecca, outstanding job today. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Many Catholics also gathered at the Capitol today to counter-protest this Black Mass. We have our 27 News reporter Gabriel Johnson continuing our team coverage tonight, where hundreds of people lined the Capitol steps. Gabe, good evening. Now, how are they responding?
Yeah, well, it was a peaceful but tense day here at the state capitol. Catholics from all over the area, they spent much of the morning praying, but mainly countering the highly anticipated Black Mass. St. Michael! This was the scene today outside of the State House, just hundreds of feet from a satanic worship.
What I love is it's totally peaceful, it's totally for the faith, and it's totally for people. All people.
Zachary King, once a member of a satanic group, is now a converted Catholic after he says a stranger introduced him to the church. He tells me today's protest is important to him, especially because of his experience.
I knew in that instant that I did not sell my soul to the devil when I was 13. I knew that Jesus Christ was my Lord and Savior. I knew all my Satanism, my occult, my magic, and my New Age was false, and I knew everything Catholic was truth.
On the steps, people prayed the Holy Rosary, which they say is a direct counter to the Black Mass.
I think as our culture becomes a little bit more confused about what's good and what's evil, I think it feels good to see a group of people that recognizes like good is good in spite of what other people think, and evil is evil.
Now, despite what happened at the satanic gathering, things were more peaceful here on the south steps of the Capitol. Now, again, we learned that 4 people were arrested at the incident today, and the Satanic Grotto leader, Michael Stewart, is no longer in jail tonight. Working for you live in downtown Topeka, Gabriel Johnson, 27 News.
All right, Gabriel, outstanding job today, too. Appreciate you. And our coverage does not stop here. You can find all the very latest breaking news of the Black Mass event that happened today on KSNT.com. You can also download the free 27 News app to get the very latest information right to your device. 27 News is continuing to follow this developing story. We will have more coverage tonight at 10 o'clock.
Less than 24 hours to go until K-State women's basketball takes on USC in the program's first Sweet 16 appearance in 23 years.
Yeah, very big game. There's a lot on the line for K-State's historic senior class who's trying to survive and advance for as long as it can. Brenna Green joins us live now from Spokane, Washington, where the Cats will play tomorrow. Brenna, well, how important has it been for K-State to have standout center Ayoka Lee back in the lineup?
Insanely important, Rob and Rebecca. Ayoka Lee has battled injuries throughout her K-State career. That includes leading up to this NCAA tournament. She was out for a bit, so she's only been back in this starting lineup for the Wildcats for the last 2 games. Ayoka, the most recent injury for her being her foot, which kept her out for a month towards the tail end of the season and caused her to miss the Big 12 tournament. K-State knows how to get things done without her, but there's no denying it's hard to replace an All-American, and there wouldn't have been a better time for Lee to get healthy than now. Head coach Jeff Mitty says she's back to feeling 100% and talked about the impact of her return earlier this afternoon.
It's been obviously great to integrate her back in because she does so many things for us, but we've seen her have a good week of practice again. She hasn't been limited at all in that. So my expectation, she said this before the tournament, and she was right. We have not discussed a minute limitations.
Despite some foul trouble against Kentucky, Lee played the most minutes of her season, logging 28 in the 80-79 overtime thriller. K-State is going to need another productive day from Lee against a battle-tested 30-win USC team. K-State and USC tip at 7 Central Time tomorrow here in Spokane. They will take on the winner of Oklahoma and UConn. Working for you live in Spokane, Brenna Green, 27 News.
All right, big game coming up. Thanks so much, Brenna. I appreciate it very much.
Thanks for watching 27 News at 6. I'm Rebecca Chung. A big day for Kansas State. We're hearing from former player Colin Klein for the first time as the head coach of Wildcat football. 27 News has been working for you since Chris Klieman announced his retirement 2 days ago, bringing you the latest updates as we get them. And Klein landed in Manhattan earlier today. We'll hear from 27 News reporter Braden Day in just a bit, but first let's go over to our sports director, Cole Emplet, and he joins us live from K-State's campus where the school held an official welcome event for its new head football coach. And Cole, it's a big change for K-State and a quick turnaround after Kleiman's retirement.
Hey, Rebecca, you got that right. 48 hours later, Chris Klieman retires. What holds the future of the K-State program? Go out and get one of your most distinguished players, one of your most memorable players. The Golden Boy has returned, Colin Klein, who, as you said, touched down this morning in Manhattan, quickly now introduced as the 36th head coach. for Kansas State football history. And it was a press conference, but guys, it felt more like a homecoming. Fans packed the arena to hear from the former Wildcat, who obviously is balancing being the offense coordinator at Texas A&M right now and now being named the new head coach for the Wildcats. But he laid out a clear vision built on toughness, discipline, and restoring the identity he believes defines Kansas State football.
It's because we're tougher. We know how to finish, and we know how to go to a place and a level that most people don't even understand. We're not going to take shortcuts. We're going to do everything, every little detail is going to be taken care of.
Klein says the work begins today as K-State flips a new chapter on their historic program. We'll have more coverage coming up on Colin Klein later on in sports. Working for you from Manhattan, Cole Implett, 27 Sports.
All right, Cole, thanks so much. Let's move on now to 27 News reporter Braden Day. He's live in Aggieville and is hearing from K-State fans and donors. And they're sharing their thoughts on Colin Klein taking over the team. Braden, what are you hearing?
Yeah, Rebecca, there certainly is a lot of excitement here at Aggieville, and everybody I've spoken with says they're super excited about the hiring of new head football coach Colin Klein. Colin Klein will be the newest head football coach for the K-State Wildcats, and fans and donors of the team have a lot to say about it.
Colin brings an energy that just can't be beat. So I'm super excited to have him here, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen.
I think we're going to go on just like we've been going and get better, maybe.
Klein played quarterback for the Wildcats from 2008 to 2012, and there's no question fans are hoping he coaches as well as he played.
We followed him to the Fiesta Bowl. We went to the Cotton Bowl. He's one of my favorite players of all time. Colin is as smart as they come when it comes to football, and he's proven that at every level. He's won as a player, he's won as an assistant coach, and I have no doubt that he'll win as a head coach as well.
Klein will replace Chris Kleiman, who announced his retirement on Wednesday. Fans say he will be missed, but new coach Klein will bring a new excitement to the team.
We hate to see Coach Kleiman leave and retire. We really hate that, but we can't think of, or I can't think of a better replacement than Coach Klein coming in. He's purple, he's all K-State.
Klein will take over after the Wildcats finished their 2025 season with a 6-6 record. And as for the fans here in Aggieville, they can't wait for next season to come around. Reporting live from Aggieville, I'm Braden Day.
All right, a new beginning for K-State. Braden, thanks so much.